What's good, everybody? Welcome back. Brandon again. You are watching some of my squat day for the cube method again. Now, I just got back from a trip to North Carolina. I was in Wilmington for a friend's wedding. I got home last night and this morning. I wanted to just get in the gym really quick because I'm flying to Seattle for the week. So I wanted to get a little bit of work done, and it was my squat day. So here you can see right here, again, I'm not using a belt or wrist wraps that I usually do. I do have my knee sleeves on, but that's about it. You're watching some of my warm-up sets. A lot of people ask about how I warm up. What I've been doing is as I work up to my working sets, which are usually about 400 pounds or above, I start off with 135, then I add 25s to each side before jumping up to another 45. So that's kind of the progression I go, probably 50 to 40 pounds at a time depending on. So you see 225. Playing a little bit around with bar position on these lighter sets. I'm also really trying to throw my knees out when I do this, and you can see that I'm actually being able to stay a little bit more upright. Another thing that I'm really playing around with as things go on is the shoes that I'm wearing. So I'm not using my Olympic shoes. A lot of people have pointed this out as a reason why I might be bending a little bit forward. I think going forward for a while at least, I'm probably just going to be using my Chucks. So you'll probably see those next video, but I just grabbed these New Balances because again, I wasn't really sure what I was going to do. So 275 here, working up again with these warm-up sets, anywhere between 5 to 3 reps. The goal for today is considered a squat heavy day, which means, to put it simply, you work up to heavy singles or heavy doubles. So that's what I'm doing here. And I wasn't really sure exactly where I wanted to go with this, just because I haven't really been doing a lot of heavy squatting without a belt. So I didn't really want to overexert myself too soon, because that's when you snap some shit up. So here you see 365. I think I did this for 3 reps. Let's just see. I'm getting right to parallel, which is good. That's where I want to be. I typically use more of a little bit of a low bar stance for me at least, as well as, it might be tough to see in this sense, but I use a little bit of a wider stance too. So going completely ass to grass isn't really possible with this kind of form. Here you see 405. So we're getting there. Let's see, I think this is just for 2 reps. So this is where I considered my first working set. So going for 2 here. Didn't really feel too bad. I was like, hell, you know what, let's go for another one. Felt pretty good. So for the next working set, what I thought I'd do is just jump the weight up. Now I wanted to jump right to 425 next, but I thought, you know what, baby steps, Brandon, baby steps. So here you see 415. I threw the collars on the bar here. These are the light collars, so I'm not adding any weight for them, but I wanted to just make sure that, you know, I didn't drop the weight on the side. You can see I'm not really using the catch racks. They're really low, so they wouldn't really do much of anything. So here's the first rep. Felt pretty good. See the knees shake just a little bit because, again, I'm really trying to make them force out and then squeeze in as I push up, get more drive. And that actually looked and felt fairly easy. Again, without a belt, for me, that's huge. That's the most I've ever done without a belt. So what did I do? I said, hey, you know what? Let's increase the weight a little bit more. So here's 425. Again, no belt, anything like that. No wrist straps. Walk it back. Goal here is to get 2 reps. Down and pretty smooth. So let's go for another one. And down and up. And pretty smooth as well. And that's where I stopped. So just basically 3 heavy working sets for me on this again, and before moving on. And what I wanted to do, besides the fact, was some front squats. Now, typically I might have done leg press here. The only really downside of this gym, which I'm a big fan of, is the fact that it doesn't have any kind of leg press machine. Now, this is the first time I've done front squats in a long time. So as you can see, the first couple of reps are a little bit wobbly. I'm really trying to get myself smooth. You see my torso is pretty straight up and down. I'm getting fairly good depth. And these felt pretty good, but with front squats I used the cross grip and I just really wasn't used to it, so again it kind of threw me off a little bit. So the second set here, and I'm just sticking with 225, doing reps of 10. A lot of times with the cube, what you'll find is you do your heavy working sets, your explosive sets, or your rep day for the main movement, and then the rest of what you do is really just accessory exercises or things you need to work on. So I wanted to work on front squats, and here you can see the form on this is a lot better than the first set. Getting fairly low, and you'll find front squats actually allow you to do this with the weight where the center of gravity is. Most people have a lot better depth with front squats, as you can see that I do as well. So I did one more set, so a total of 3 sets here for 10 reps each. Again, I really wasn't trying to break the bank on these, so to say, only because I don't want to push myself too hard and end up getting injured, which would set me back a long ways. So in some cases you do have to lighten the load, and it's tough mentally, but it's just one of those things you have to do. So we're finishing out these front squats here. I was trying to think of what else I could do. I didn't have a ton of time today because I have to catch an airplane soon for Seattle, like I mentioned already. So I thought I'd do 3 sets of good mornings, and I haven't done these in probably well over a year. And they felt really awkward, and I just really tried to make sure I got a good stretch here. So what I'm really focusing on this with this very itty bitty weight is, first of all, try to keep my back fairly straight, as well as just, I'm trying to focus here, just push my ass out. That's the only thing I'm thinking. I'm trying to push my ass out as far as it can go back while I lower the weight down, and on the way up, I'm trying to squeeze it through. So if you watched my last video with the, hey, come over here, girl, with the stiff-legged deadlifts trying to pull someone up, this is more like I'm trying to push away. So let's say we're on a really tight, crowded train, and there's a gentleman in front of you, and he starts kind of trying to back up into you, puts his ass into you, and you're like, ooh, dude, get away from me. Ooh, got to get away from that. So I'm trying to throw my ass back as far as I can, and this is really working my hamstrings quite well, and as well as my glutes. So this was a great exercise. I did 3 sets of 10, just didn't film the rest. As always, everybody, thanks so much for watching, and in the meantime, stay big.